Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Kit Conspiracy. And today I am working with another double pager, and I've got photos of the kids all at the lake. Well, it's not just the kids. My husband is floating in the water as well. I've got one of the kids jumping off the big rock there, and then a bunch of them in the foreground in front of the rock down in that bottom right-hand photo. My daughter and my niece up in the upper left of the right-hand page, and then my son's best friend in the bottom right-hand corner, just getting some sun, laying on a rock. And sometimes I find that it's very difficult to find paper that matches water because the blues are slightly off or they compete. But in this case, I think the reflection of the blue in the photos, goes really well with this blue paper. So I was really liking that. And then I knew I wanted to use this black and white stripe because my niece's swimsuit is black and white striped diagonally, just like this paper. So I thought that would be a good match. And then this piece that looks like peeling paint on wood is actually from Dress My Craft, and it's one of their Transfer Me sheets. So what this is, it's my first time using it. I've had it in my stash for a little while now, and I've been wanting to use it, and I thought this was a really good layout to put it on. But what it is basically like the tattoos that you put on little kids. It's got that plastic on the front. It's a little sticky when you peel that plastic off. You put it down, get it wet, and it sticks to the paper. The recommended way to use it is to get it wet first, and so that's what I'm going to do because it's the first time using it, and usually I use things the way they are recommended the first time, and then I kind of do my own thing after that. So we'll see how well it works. I do know that when you're using a large piece, because I've watched a few videos on it, that sometimes it tends to roll up, and so it's a little bit difficult to get that on the page the right way if you get it wet first. And so some people tend to put it on the paper first, and then they put like a wet paper towel on the back, just like you would a kid's tattoo. But this seemed to work for me. I didn't have any problems with it, with the exception of the fact that the second one that I did, I forgot to take the plastic front off of it, and it does like to stick to that plastic front. I had a little bit of a time getting it to release from the plastic front so that I could stick it on the page, but it did work. And as you see there, I did use a pencil line to mark where I wanted it. I am going to layer the black and white stripe over it just a tad. There was one little piece in here that was not sticking. I never did get it to stick, and I finally thought, why am I even worrying about this? It looks like it's peeled paint anyway, so that little splotch is not going to matter. So I just gave up. And it's just that one little tiny spot that didn't transfer over. But they have these Transfer Me sheets in all different kinds of things. They've got brick backgrounds. They've got florals. They've got floral clusters, kind of like you would use a rub-on. Keys, locks, gears, all kinds of stuff. You can just look it up on scrapbook.com by looking up Dress My Craft Transfer Me, and they will come up. I will also put a link down below for the one that I'm using if they still have it available. I think these are kind of, I don't want to say they're brand new to the market, but I think they've only been out like maybe a year to 2 years or something like that. But I thought they were really cool, so I had to try them. And of course, you know, before trying them, I went ahead and bought a whole bunch. So I've got a bunch in my stash now. So now that I know how well they work, I thought I'm going to go ahead and use these. But I really like how it turned out. I am using my favorite punch to go ahead and punch border strip across for this black and white. I don't know why I didn't think about just ripping it, because a lot of the papers that I'm using for this kit are going to probably be ripped. But I decided to go ahead and use that punch, and it's a large scallop, and it is from X-Cut, and you can probably still find it on Amazon. And that is, I know I recently bought one on Amazon myself because I thought I had lost my other one, and then my other one turned up. So I now have 2 of them, which works for me because if one ever breaks, I will already have one. And like I said, it's my favorite punch, so it gets used most frequently out of all of the punches that I have. I am inking everything up with some black soot distress ink. I did use my distress tool to just distress some of the scallops on that black and white border, just because I don't want it to be super perfect. I do want to have some imperfection because, as I said, there's going to be some ripped papers in here. I guess maybe because the girls are in this photo, I kind of went with a little bit more of a feminine look with the scalloped edge rather than the ripped edge. But most of the photos don't have the girls in it. It's just got the scouts. We were only there for a short time. We arrived, spent the night, got up, they did a little swimming, and we left. So it worked out really well. Gave us a place to stay after going to a concert. And this is about, I'm going to say about 3 to 3.5 hours from our house. So it wasn't like it was a place that I could just easily drive home from after a concert. And I mean, as far as concerts go, it was Jason Mraz that we went and saw. And so it was pretty tame as far as concerts go. And what happened was, I mentioned this in a prior video, but I guess I haven't mentioned it on this video. So maybe if you didn't see the prior one, the boys were all camping up there. My husband was up there, my son, and a bunch of the scouts. And they're about 30 to 40 minutes from the concert venue. And so I took my daughter and my niece for my daughter's birthday to this concert. And then we just stayed overnight where the boys were. They had already set up the tent and everything. So all we had to do was, drive up, and I think they played some cards that night, and then we crashed, not literally, but we went to bed, and they got up the next morning, did a little swimming, and we went home. So I am using these frames. So usually I have a hard time using frames when they come and they're really small frames and you get like a whole pack of frames, chipboard frames, but these ones are pretty large, and so they work really well around these larger photos. So I'm going to use one on each page, and then I'm going to use this piece that says Life is Better Lakeside, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to take Life is Better off of there. I'm going to cut it apart, and then I'm going to put Lakeside Adventure, and I'm going to use the foam sticker that says Adventure on it. I like the way that it looks. It's the right color, and I think it pairs well with this other one that says Lakeside. The Lakeside one being a little softer because it's in a more of a handwritten font, versus the Adventure one is more of a bold block font. And so I thought I would pair the two up, and I'm keeping this layout a little bit more simple than some of my other ones, but I do really like the way that it comes out. It's, not all of your layouts have to be really involved in making them, and if they're quick to put together, it doesn't mean that they don't have enough on them. I don't want anyone to think by any stretch of the imagination that you need to spend hours and hours and hours on your layouts, getting them to be just right. I mean, not that you don't want them to be just right, but it doesn't always take hours to get your layout to be just right, basically, is what I'm saying. So I do like the fact that the bottom photos on the right-hand side extend out further than the top photos. Originally, I had swapped some of the photos around, and the top ones were a little bit wider than the bottom ones. And to me, it always looks like the photos are kind of like could fall off the shelf, if you will. And so in this case, I went ahead and swapped them around so that they are the wider grouping is at the bottom. So that is where my two embellishment clusters are going. They're going diagonal across both pages. So upper left and lower right. I am going to put a little bit of a cluster right up here at the top of this photo of my husband floating, but it's going to be very minimal. I am layering up this chipboard wood piece. Well, it's not really wood. It looks like a piece of like a wood slice, but it's not actually wood. It's just chipboard. And it says go jump in the lake or something to that effect. And I thought that was perfect because the two photos on the left-hand side is one of the boys, or they are of one of the boys jumping off of that rock. And it doesn't look like it's that huge, but if you see the boy in the picture, it's a huge rock. We tried to get my son to jump off of it and he would have nothing to do with it. My husband was like, what if I buy you a new game for your Xbox? And my son's like, nope, I'm not doing it. I mean, of course, we're not going to force him to do it. We were just wondering how far can we entice him and see if he will do it. And he was like, no, I'm not having it. So, of course, he's only probably 11 or no, he must be 12 or 13 in these photos. I'm not sure. He must be 11. Yeah, I think he's 11 in here because these are, I believe, 2008. They're either 2008 or 2009, and it was one of the first campouts that they did. I did decide to add some fish on here. We didn't do any fishing. Well, I don't know. Some of the scout leaders did fishing, I believe, but the girls and I did not do any fishing. My husband didn't do any fishing. My husband has done fishing in the past, but it's kind of a pointless thing for him because he's allergic to fish, so he can't eat it anyway. So he would just do catch and release if he wanted to, but it's kind of pointless. So he's had a lot more fun just hanging out with the guys and cooking over the open fire or over the grills that we brought up there, and then hanging out in the water and stuff like that rather than trying to actually catch a fish. So I did use some twine here. It's just some like a brown, really thin twine, and it is connected to those fish down there, but then I wrapped it around the top of this frame just to give some added interest, and I really like the way that it looks wound around there. It just is a nice little touch to kind of bring in a different texture because the twine has kind of a fibrous feel to it, and it brings it all the way around that photo. So I'm really liking the way that looks. I am going to bring in this little piece underneath the photo, and I think it says get outdoors, or I don't know, it's one of the outdoor stickers. And then the little tab above the photo of my husband floating says float away. I thought that was perfect. I think this actually says great outdoors on it. And then I really like the piece that said just add water because, they're in the water, and I thought that was perfect just to use on the water page rather than using it on pages where they're actually like photos of the tents and them playing cards and that kind of stuff. So I thought that was this was the perfect page to use it on. And then I'm adding some of the faux brads, and I like these faux brads. I've never really used them before. They don't have any of the little brad backing on them. They are just the brad front with a piece of foam behind it, which is kind of nice because you don't have to sit there and try and poke a hole in your layout or anything. And so if you get them put in the wrong spot, you can easily just move them around if you need to, which is exactly what I did. I had them closer to the fish, and then I just moved them over underneath that little Great Outdoors sign. And I just put a little combination of 3 in each corner. And then I am using some Dylusions Ink Spray in Vibrant Turquoise and in Black Marble. And then I'm also going to use some Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine. And I will put links down below for all of these products in case you are interested in them, just like I will for the Dress My Craft Transfer Me sheet. So anything that is still available. And that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions or comments, as always, just leave those down below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks so much for watching and taking time to spend with me today. I hope that you have a great day. Don't forget to head on over and check out what MK has up on her channel for today. This is our official day to post for Kit Conspiracy, so I'm really curious to see what she has done today, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow. I will have a mixed media mayhem for you using more of these supplies, and then on Saturday I will have the another official posting of Kit Conspiracy. See you then. Bye bye.